If you like to get the illustrations that I use for this design, now you can get them on my Gumroad account. I'll leave a link down below. Thank you guys for your support. And now let's get to the video. Alright, hello there guys, welcome back to my channel. And for today's video, I'm going to be creating a design process of how this poster created. First, I wanna make a new Canva over here. If I go to image, Canva size, you see that I'm going to be using 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels with each square, and if you use the inches measurements, it's going to be 10 inches by 10 inches, but I prefer to use pixels. So okay. Once I have my new Canva, I like to make some sort of grid layout that I want to be using. I go to view, guides, new guide layout, in which I already have this one pre-made, which I only going to be using columns and rows. And if you see over here, I don't want anything crossing these lines over here, so everything that I design should be around this area right here. Nothing comes out. Let's delete that. All right, let's make the middle lane and center lane and middle lane right there. Let's get a square. Let's make some squares real quick. Change this gray, and with Shift Alt press together, you can see the squares comes along, not like that or like that. I want it almost in the middle. That's fine. Let's make it a little more clear, something like that. Let's bring this one here. Let's hide the layout grids with Control. Bring this one up there and this one down, but with the same space. So I want middle photo, bottom photo, and upper photo. And with this one, I wanted to make it a rectangle like that. And I am only going to be using 3 illustrations for this design, just to clarify that good design can be achievable with only a small amount of resources. And over here, I already pre-saved the illustrations, textures, and the title that I want to be using. So let's hit on this one, copy and paste it. Let's work from bottom to top. So if this one is the bottom here, should be second one, first one, second one should be this one, third one should be this one right here, and the small one, let's bring this down a little because I would like the title around here. Let's bring this up a little. That's fine. And for this one, let's bring it on the bottom one. And for this design, I was a little part of the design, I was inspired by films photos. If you can see, film photo are some sort of squares that rolls and that makes some frames per se. So the idea was to have this illustration right here, but at the very bottom it was small, and by the time it gets to the top one, it increased the size of the illustration. Go here, zoom in a little, press A, and for the corners I want it at 37 pixels like that. Let's Control A to select everything, copy. Let's hit on the next illustration, and we don't have to press A, we can just come here and paste it. Same with the one at the bottom, press it, Control A to select everything, Control V to pass it, to copy paste it. That's fine. And this one, I'm not going to be using the square for the illustration, so for this one I don't have to do it. Same for the title. We can go press the bottom one, and with Alt, once you see the square with that arrow pointing at the bottom, you're gonna make the illustration go within the square. I want it about that size, but I don't want these corners to be visible. So let's press on the illustration, and now try to get rid of the corner about that. Let's bring it up just a tiny bit so you can see her face and the aura is visible. I don't want it like that, nor like that. I think right where it was is perfect to my liking. You can see the both of the angels, you can see her, and you can see some sort of the surroundings. Just Control J to duplicate it or copy paste it. Let's bring the one in the middle. Let's just bring it up a little, and with Alt, same. When you see the square with the arrow pointing down, press. And for this one, I want to increase the size about there. Again, once again, Control J, let's bring this up, Alt, left click. For this one, I want pretty much just the hands, maybe a tiny bit bigger. That's perfect. That's perfect. Over here, I want this illustration. Let's copy and paste it. Let's bring it about here and to the bottom. And for this one, we can bring them about there. But let's increase the squares a little. Perfect. That one is perfect there. We can go ahead and delete the square. We're not going to be using it anymore. And for this illustration, let's copy paste it and bring it down. Let's zoom in because I want it right in the middle. I feel like this area This area right here is pretty empty, so let's bring this there like that, and just with Alt duplicate it. This one more or less right in the middle. Let's press all of them. Perfect. There's fine. The bottom is fine. Title over here, so we can delete the square. The design is pretty much done, and now it's just about give the design some touches and bring everything together. Go here, select on this little circle right here, and solid color. Let's turn it black. Let's delete the masks that I'm not going to be using. This is the background. Let's turn maybe this to yellow, and I don't need to mask anything, so let's go ahead and delete the background that comes Photoshop come up as a default. We can block the background for these squares. I want to be using this color is not pure white, and you can see over here this is the code of the coloring specific. Go again this one and this one. So we got bottom illustration, middle illustration, and top illustration. We got bottom photo and top photo. This one red, orange, and yellow. So we can see that all of this is progressing from top to bottom over here. Let's go ahead and make some squares so it's easier for us. Let's make it just a tiny bigger. This one, it doesn't really matter the size because we're not going to be using it. We just want it as a reference so we can just copy paste the color easier. Let's double click on this illustration. Let's go to color overlay. And what I meant by that is just copy paste it just like that. It's a little quicker to me. So if you want to use that method, you can use it. I always try to make some sort of color palette and leave it around the design where it's not interfering with any of the other designs. Not like that, not like that. And some sort of empty space, so it's easier for me to just use them. Main illustration, and now let's go ahead and work with all the others. But first, let me bring the main illustration to the bottom, and now double click on the first one, the color overlay, and copy paste this light gray. Same with the one in the middle and the one on the far right. And I notice that over here is overlapping a little, but what I can do by that is just press on the illustration, make a little mask, come to the main illustration, make a mask, and delete everything that is interfering with the other illustration. That was fine to me. And the text, I wanted the light green as well. Right now it's at 24 points, maybe about 26. Bring it to the corner over here, or maybe about 14. I think that looks way better. Let's bring back the grids. We can see that nothing is passing anything. Let's just select all of these, bring it a little more to the corner. I think that looks way better. Let's hide the grids. I can go ahead now and delete the squares. I think that looks pretty much done. But the text, I want it to be some sort of script or cursive. So I want to be using this one, but not all caps, just the letter L. And check that none of the letters are interfering with each other. All of that looks fine. If you ever come across that one of the text is interfering with the other one, you can just press Alt and right or left arrow, and that'll move just part that you are pretty much selecting, just like that. Okay, it's perfect. Bring it here, and now that I see it from afar, I'm noticing that there's a little bit of gap over here, so maybe let's bring it back to 16 points, or maybe even go ahead to 18, and that looks better. The design is pretty much done, so I can go ahead to the resources, select the first texture and bring it up. This one is not super noticeable from if you zoom out, but if you zoom in, you can see it's some grainy texture. And before I go ahead and finish this up, let me go ahead and name all of the layers. This one is the main illustration, left illustration, middle illustration, and right illustration. This is the main one, so the other ones can be some sort of darker blue like indigo. That looks perfect. go ahead to resources, second illustration, let's copy paste it and bring it up, and the last texture and bring it up. As you can see, they're not super detailed, but you can see the textures over here. This one bring the second one even more, make it pop. The second one, first one without any of them, with the first one, second one, and third one. For the text, I want some sort of texture, so you just make it like it's broken. Then this one looks fine. Let's bring it up, bit down, go around here, and let's bring it to the title. Like that, and let's play around and see how it looks best. That looks good, so it makes sense because on the design I have this sort of like grain texture, and for the title I have the darker texture. And after that, the title layer, I'm going to just leave it as it is, but let's make it to maybe magenta, texture, main texture, bring the main one to the top, second texture, third texture. And if you see everything over here, you can see that I have background, bottom illustration, middle illustration, top illustration. They're all with the respective titles and colors. I have main illustration, left illustration, middle illustration, right illustration, same with the respective layer names and colors. I have the title, the texture of the title, second texture, third texture, and their main texture. And this is how I created this cover art design. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you would like to see more of this design process. And if this video was helpful for you, consider like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.